Hey, Andy here from builderhottub.com. In this video, I'm going to introduce Mel and his DIY hot tub build. So let's go ahead and take a look. So back in July of last year, Mel got in touch through the website. He was looking round at how to build a DIY hot tub. He found the website. He got in touch and we started talking. Mel's goals were pretty straightforward from the outset, and as you can see behind me, this was the actual image that he sent to me of what he wanted to achieve. So he wanted an oak-built pavilion and he wanted an in-ground hot tub that was under the pavilion, and this was going to go in his backyard. So his goals were very straightforward. My remit for the project was just the hot tub portion. He had the oak pavilion, the design of that taken care of already, and he was going to have that in place before we actually started the hot tub build. So the first thing that I had to do on the hot tub build was work with the control room position. Now the control room position for Mel's build is about 40 feet away from the tub itself. So we needed to take that into consideration when the pumps and the blower were being sized up, because normally you try and get those as close as you can to the actual hot tub. But for Mel's build, with that 40-foot run, we just had to be mindful of the distance and how that was going to affect the flow rate on the jets. The next design, call it a challenge, that Mel wanted, was he wanted to add what's now become known as the Kyle Lounger into his build. So if you've been following the channel or you read the blog, you may have seen the video series from Kyle over in Colorado and his DIY hot tub build. He was the first to have me design a lounger with inbuilt contoured jets, and that subsequently became known as the Kyle Lounger, and it's been used in a number of my projects over the last year or so. And Mel wanted one of those incorporated into his design. It was going to be slightly different because he didn't want jets in it. He just wanted the contour concrete lounger, so he was able to sit and actually admire the wonderful view of the lake that he has in his backyard. And you can see behind me here, the view is pretty special, and you can understand why he wants to have that lounger in place so he can sit there, relax, have a nice cold drink and look at that stunning view. So Mel was going to form the hot tub, and forming, if you remember, is where we create a wooden mould that we then fill with concrete. And as you can see behind me, the process went pretty smoothly up to this stage, and he's got his contoured lounger in place. The jets and the plumbing, they're all put in during forming stage. So there's lots of videos on my channel and also on the blog. There's plenty of posts that explain exactly how to do this. And of course, this is a great time to say, don't forget to subscribe. Hit me up in the comments if you've got any questions. And of course, if you like the video, give me a thumbs up as well. So with the concrete all in place, the next stage for Mel was to take a look at the control room. And he won't mind me saying that the control room was one of the areas that he had most difficulty with. And to be honest, it's perfectly normal, and it's the area where most people actually have most difficulty. And that's of course where I come in. I've got lots of information, lots of material that I can send to help you with this part, and I can help you every step of the way, configuring those spar packs and getting everything working. That's exactly what I did with Mel. So Mel had a couple of challenges. Firstly, with the configuring of the pack, we needed to get that configured for 230 volts. And he also had an issue with the wiring of his UV system. So with the UV system, we designed it so that it was going to be running only when the pump was running on low speed. This is because you only really need the UV when we're actually filtering. So you want the water to be passing through the UV slowly so that it can then kill all of that bacteria. And that's what it does on low speed. But unfortunately, it was wired into the high speed by his electrician. So once we'd identified that, it was pretty straightforward to switch that over and get it working back on the regular low speed. The next challenge that Mel had was a little different to what I've seen before, if I'm perfectly honest. So when he came to have his plasterers come in to put the finishing coat on, the concrete they decided was actually too smooth. So they were worried about the adhesion between the finished surface and the underlying concrete, and if it was going to sort of lift off over time. So this was a bit of a challenge, more an annoyance, because they then had to spend 2 days actually chipping away, and as you can see behind me, and really roughing up that concrete so that they were comfortable with putting their finished surface on so that it wasn't going to lift off. Now, this is it can be an issue, and if you've seen on one of my previous videos, John, who was doing an ICF block, he did actually have a surface that lifted off. So be mindful, it's always worth taking on the advice of, in Mel's case, the professional plasterers weren't happy with that surface. Take that advice and run with it, and you'll end up with a better build in the long run. So with that surface all roughed up, they were then comfortable to go ahead and apply the finishing surface, and you can see them doing that behind me right now. Fast forward a few days, and I think it's about a week or so after everything had cured, and it was time for Mel to actually fill the tub and start things moving. However, he did run into a slight issue with priming his pump. Now, we designed the whole system so it was going to be below the water level, and that's the pipes and the actual pump itself. If you've seen any of my previous videos, the pumps that we use for hot tubs are generally centrifugal pumps, and they can't actually suck air. So they need to be fed water by gravity. So by having them lower than the water line, water will flow into the pumps and they will work normally. Priming up the pump is the process of removing the initial air from the lines, and Mel was actually struggling with this, I think because it was quite close to the actual level of the water line. Now, what you can do in this instance, and this is what Mel did, you remove the filter, you take the top off the filter, and you try and get as much water with a hose pipe into the filter and into the plumbing lines. When you can't get any more through the filter, lock it off, put the filter back in, then go and open the union at the top of the pump, and hopefully if water doesn't start to flow out, if it does, just lock it off, it's good to go. If water doesn't flow out of that, you can then fill through the top of the pump, and it's basically forcing as much water as possible into those pipes that are running between the control room and the hot tub, so that when we turn on the actual pump, it draws some water in, it'll splutter for a bit, and then it'll actually get going and it'll prime itself up. And that's what happened with Mel. It took him a little bit of time to actually get it right and get enough water into those lines so that the pump would prime, but then he was all sorted, and wow, check this out. How good is that build? That pavilion, if you cast your mind back to the goal that I showed you at the start of this video, that was his aim. He wanted the pavilion with the sunken hot tub. Mel, you've smashed it out of the park. This is absolutely stunning build. And as you can see, even Mel's wife in the video, she's very, very pleased with the outcome as well. It's a beautiful build, Mel, in a beautiful location, and it was definitely worth. It was a 2-year project. The first half was getting the pavilion in. The second half was building the hot tub, which was obviously the part that I was involved with. And the outcome is absolutely stunning. Really, really pleased for you, Mel. As always, if I can help you with your build, then please do get in touch, whether it's design, whether it's part supply, any questions that you have. Hit me up in the comments, contact me through the website. Always happy to hear about your projects. And as always, thank you for the view. I really appreciate it. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and I will see you on the next video. If you've liked this video, please do like, share, and subscribe to the channel. I'll see you on the next video.